The Dodgers try to end this series on a high note after losing the opener 7-3 and falling last night 12-2. They'll try and salvage one in the final game of this three-game series against the Colorado Rockies. And we say welcome inside Coors Field with Oral and Nomar. I'm Joe Davis. Kelly Tennant joins us in just a moment. You know, in a 162-game season, it seems like there are some games that take on some added importance, and after losing the first two in this series, right in the middle of a division race, this game feels like one of those.
It does, and for one thing, the obvious reasons to avoid this the sweep. But the other reason is the Colorado Rockies have been so hot, and you look about what they've done since the All-Star game. Now, the Dodgers have done a tremendous job making up approximately 4 games coming into today's game against the Giants. But what have the Colorado Rockies done? Well, they've made up 9 games in the standings as well. So they're hot on both those top 2 teams' tails right now. So you got to slow them down, get the momentum to go back to where you're playing really well, and that is at Dodger Stadium.
Kenta Maeda takes it for the Dodgers. He was dominant in his first start in his career in this ballpark. They get him an extra day of rest by having Brock Stewart start yesterday, and Kenta's been much better when he's had that extra day.
That 5th day has been very important to him in the transition from pitching in Japan. That extra day seems to give him a crisper slider, a better differential between the fastball and the curveball. And the fastball he has a lot more confidence in when he throws it and can locate it better. So the Dodgers having to massage this rotation and looking at how to get people to go deeper into the game. They want to get Kenta to at least 100 pitches, because every time he's gone 100 pitches, he's gone at least 6 innings.
Dodgers have not had a starter recorded out in the 5th inning since Saturday. A lot on the shoulders of Kenta Maeda here in the series finale against the Rockies. And when we come back, we'll look at his battery mate, Yasmani Grandal, who has been so hot since the beginning of July. Kelly Tennant joins us on the other side. Rockies here at Coors Field on an overcast night. Low rain chances though, so hopefully we'll be okay to get this final game of this 3-game series in, with the Rockies taking the opener 7-3 and then taking game 2 12-2 last night. Joe Davis with Nomar Garciaparra, Oral Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, and Dave Roberts ready to send his lineup out there. It's presented by Honda. It's the same lineup that he had with a right-hander on the mound in the series opener. Chase Utley leads it off. Then it's Corey Seager. Justin Turner, 13 home runs and 40 RBIs in his last 38 games. Both of those numbers leading the National League. Josh Reddick looking for his first hit as a Dodger. Had a couple of good at-bats in his debut a couple of nights ago. Adrian Gonzalez bats behind him. Then it's Grandal, Howie Kendrick, and Jock Peterson in front of Kenta Maeda. And they face off with Tyler Chatwood, who's 26 years old. He's from Redlands, California, and he's the only active starting pitcher in the majors that's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Had one when he was 16, that was 10 years ago, and then had another in July of 2014.
Yeah, and coming into this year, you look at the record with the 10-6 record with a 3.5 ERA. But like most pitchers here for Colorado, the splits are different from the home and the road. At home, he's 4-6 with a 5.69 ERA, but he's been outstanding on the road, going 6-0. Hasn't lost on the road with a 1.3 ERA. One thing you got to be ready for with him is the fastball. 72% of his pitches are fastball. It's the second highest percentage in the major leagues, only behind Bartolo Colon. He keeps that ball down, uses the movement. He also throws a cutter to mix in with that, and an occasional curveball and changeup. But his game is about getting ground balls.
6 foot, 185, and Joe, you mentioned that the Tommy John was 2 years ago approximately now, and when you come back from surgery like that, it takes about 2 years to get your full strength back. And I will tell you what, in his last 2 starts, which he got W's, the fastball played up about a good mile an hour, 2 mile an hour harder. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by Chumash Casino Resort, where we are all about you.
Tommy John that he had in July of 2014 caused him to miss all but 4 starts that year. He missed all of last season, made a minor league rehab start in September, but didn't pitch in a big league game. So this is the second starting pitcher in a row that the Rockies throw out there that didn't pitch last season. Same thing with Tyler Anderson, last night's winning pitcher. Tonight, Tyler Chatwood. Chase Utley greets him, and away we go with strike 1.
When you talk about those 2 starting pitchers that didn't pitch last year for the Rockies, you're talking about youngsters that didn't have a lot of innings under their belt to begin with. So it's no surprise that these guys are starting to hit their stride in the second half as they get more big league experience, understand Coors Field, and get into their whole rhythm of being back and being healthy.
And as the Rockies have won 11 of 13 and have gone 14-5 since the break, starting pitching has keyed things. Utley sends one into right center for a leadoff base hit. He throws on the brakes with Blackman firing the ball back in. And Utley's got his first hit of this series to open the finale.
Well, the Rockies defense is brought to you by Clamato as we have a look out there in right field. David Dahl, speaking of rookies, making his Major League debut this season. Earlier, approximately 9 games ago, he's riding a 9-game hitting streak as well. Out there in right field because Carlos Gonzalez, the hot-hitting Carlos Gonzalez, tweaked his ankle yesterday coming out of the box, but he said it's just a light sprain, so good news for the Rockies.
Corey Seager stands in and looks at a strike. Yeah, they dodged a bullet on that one. They weren't so lucky with Trevor Story, who has been lost for the season with a thumb injury. Surgery today for their all-star shortstop. There's an 0-1, and it's outside to Seager. 1 ball and 1 strike. Corey 1 for 7 so far at Coors Field this week. Chatwood's 1-1. Fouled off, and it's 1-2.
Chatwood will induce the ground ball and get an awful lot of them, but he's also not afraid to ride that ball up like he just did to Corey. you start to feel frisky, get your arm strength back, and you know your fastball is lively, you all of a sudden get a little bit more confidence about beating a hitter up in the strike zone.
Well, it's a good effective pitch, especially when you know coming in as a hitter. You know he's going to be down in the zone. You know he has the 3rd highest ground ball percentage rate in the National League. So you know his ball's sinking, it's going down, so that's where your sights are. So then all of a sudden you get him up, it's hard to lay off that pitch.
Utley at first to start this game, and a 2-2 pitch to Corey Seager is cut on and missed. Went to the back foot for out number 1.
You look at all the different sites that chart pitches. Chatwood's breaking ball right here gets charted as a cutter, gets charted as a slider, gets charted sometimes even as a 4-seamer if he stays behind it. But awful lot of hard pitches between 88 and about 93 miles an hour coming out of his arm.
Here's Justin Turner, and Chatwood himself classifies that as a cutter. Used to be a bigger, loopier version of that pitch. That was before his second Tommy John. And it's one of the adjustments he's made to try and stay healthier. Less stress on the arm throwing that tight cutter than trying to spin a slider up there.
You have more ball in your hand when it leaves your hand, so your elbow's a little bit more stable, not quite as much torque on it as you're trying to cut through the ball more with less in your hand, so that puts more pressure on the elbow throwing the bigger slider.
Here's a 1-0. Turner bounces it foul. 1-1. First inning home run for Justin last night, his 19th of the year. Career highs in homers and in runs batted in. Yeah, more homers and RBIs than any player in the National League over his last 38 games, which goes back to mid-June. 1-2.
We've seen Justin pick on that pitch right there and hammer it during his hot streak. It's that one that's borderline high, and he has really learned to keep his balance and stay through that ball and not pop it up. Fortunate there to swing and miss.
Chatwood's 1-2, and Turner swings through it for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Chatwood after the leadoff single from Utley.
He's really using the whole entire zone early in the game. He's going in and out, and he's going up and down in the zone right there. We saw how he went against Corey Seager, went up in the zone a little bit, get some swing misses. Even the pitch before that to get Justin Turner's swing was a little bit up in the zone, and then right back down. Started off at the bottom of the strike zone, and then Kyle tailed down below it.
So Josh Reddick back in the starting lineup today. Had yesterday off with the left-handed starting pitcher for the Rockies. He was 0 for 4 in his debut, but that included a couple of really well-struck line drives. It just happened to be right at Rockies defenders. 1-1.
It was funny to read some of the critiques in different articles about he got off to a slow start as a Dodger, and I'm like remembering the game and going, that's somebody who really didn't analyze what happened. I mean, the line drive in his first bat to center field was a bullet, and a bullet to second base in his third at bat, and the great play in right field.
Somebody saw the box score.
Yeah, just somebody wrote a blog or a few articles from just looking at the box score or didn't have their eye on the television.
Over from the Oakland A's along with Rich Hill, who felt good again today after throwing that bullpen yesterday. Comes the 1-2, and it's off of the hands to second. Dodgers down in order after the leadoff single from Chase Utley. On to the bottom of the first inning. Kenta Maeda takes the ball when you come back. Dodgers swept them at Dodger Stadium last month, but in the first 2 games of this series, 19 runs produced by a lineup that starts with this guy and is sponsored by Honda. Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man. Then it's LeMahieu and Arenado. David Dahl hits out of the cleanup spot for the first time in his career, with Gonzalez out of the lineup with the ankle injury. Reynolds, Descalso, Adames, and Walters both making their first starts of this series. Kenta Maeda, 28 years old, out of Osaka, Japan, and making his 3rd start against the Rockies. He's given up only 1 run in his 13 innings against Colorado this season. And that included his debut game here at Coors Field back in April, where he took a no-hitter into the 6th. Charlie Blackmon taking strike 1, and a lot of pressure on Kenta to go deep in this game.
Sure is, and you get the leading man. That's going to help out a lot. These Rockies were very aggressive yesterday.
Blackmon slices one to left. Kendrick is there. Oh, and snow cones it. Almost popped out of his mitt, but it is out number 1.
Well, we're going to look at the Dodgers defense, brought to you by Clamato. And we're going to go over to right field and look at Josh Reddick back in there again after making his Dodger debut a couple of nights ago. We already saw a great fine play out there in right field, making a nice diving play. We were talking about at the plate earlier when he came up earlier in the game about a couple of lineouts as well. But for him, I'm sure he's just trying to look for that 1 base hit just to kind of get on the board and feel like, okay, now I can just relax and go play.
DJ LeMahieu had one of the 5 home runs last night for the Rockies. And 7 long balls total for him this year. That's a new career high. He's 3rd in the National League, hitting .324. Maeda deals him a 1-0, and LeMahieu takes strike 1.
So much was made of Kenta's day's rest, and the statistical pattern has emerged with 5 days rest is when he's at his best, and that's what he has tonight.
Past the mound is second. Utley's there. 2 up and 2 down. It's interesting, though, when you add another day of rest for Kenta Maeda, not quite as sharp.
Yeah, it's interesting that sometimes when you get away from the mound too long, you lose your possible location and your feel for pitching. And it seems like there's a balance there for Kenta to be on the normal U.S. baseball schedule of 4 days rest. That's not quite enough rest. At least the ERA shows it by over a point higher. And then that 5th day rest really helps him an awful lot. But then when he gets 6 or more, the ERA jumps again.
Here in his first major league season, he's done a nice job with Nolan Arenado. Arenado, who leads the National League in home runs and in RBIs, hitless in 6 ABs against Maeda. Hit another home run last night, and it seems like broke out of his slump. He was 2 for his previous 22. He went 2 for 3 last night, and you could just see it in his body language. Hit that home run, rounded the bases with a fist pump. Looked like a different guy in the box the rest of the night. 1-1.
A wake-up call buzzed the tower from Brock Stewart, and then the next pitch, a hanging slider away that he stayed on top of and hit a bullet to left center. But you're right, the body language, the whole makeup of his being changed on defense and on offense.
Comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
And it's not surprising. You know what players like Arenado, when they go into those slumps, you're thinking it's just that one swing. It's not going to be much, and it's going to, he'll get energized. He'll get right back out of it. And it seemed like that was the one. And you're hoping you're the team going, okay, I hope it's not against us.
Yeah. Wait till the weekend. Maeda trying to work a 1-2-3 first inning. And Arenado lays off a slider for ball 2. Not just leading the National League this year in homers and RBIs, but when you go back to the beginning of last season, he's #1 over this almost 2-year stretch. He waits on a 2-2 pitch and cracks his bat on a base hit into right center.
Just tip your cap to a big league hitter that stayed alive by making contact. Broke his bat but got a base hit. Kenta Maeda through his really good July. Location was off in June, but July it came back, and you see early in this game that Kenta is hitting Yasmani's glove very well, even though that found a place for a hit.
So a 2-out single brings up David Dahl. Hits in all 9 games for the rookie. It's called up with the Rockies in Baltimore a little more than a week ago. He was in Fresno at the time with the Rockies AAA squad. Got up at 3 a.m. after he found out he was headed to the majors the night before. Boarded a flight which was delayed and caused him to miss his connection. So he didn't get to Camden Yards for his debut until about an hour and a half before the game. So you've already got butterflies going. Now you've got to rush into the ballpark and borrow Mark Reynolds' glove to even be able to play. Here's the 2-0. And there's strike one. Julio Urias had a similar thing last night when he was called up. We saw that he didn't have glasses for the first time in the majors. That was because his bag hadn't arrived with his glasses or his contacts. And so he and A.J. Ellis had to devise a different system because he couldn't read the signs clearly when A.J. putting the fingers down.
And we noticed how long the meeting was before that inning started. A.J. was out there and they were talking for a long time to make sure they can get the signs straight.
3-1 pitch and a breaking ball sinks in for strike 2.
Because nobody had really known or noticed that until he actually got on the mound into the game. So it wasn't like something that was discussed before the game between him and AJ. Hey, listen, if I come in, we're going to have to devise some signs because I don't have my glasses or my contacts.
Arenado runs on the payoff and a fastball swung on and missed for strike 3. Maeda's first K of the game finishes a scoreless first inning in Denver. Chase Utley to start the first inning, but then Tyler Chatwood set him down in order on a scoreless game as we go to the second. Adrian Gonzalez has a home run in his career against Chatwood. It's one of his 299 career long balls. Started him with a breaking ball, strike one.
The sarcastic response to that in the locker room is, I got him in my book. Nomar, you got a lot of guys in your book.
Yeah, I just don't know all of them. I didn't really keep the book. I just was like, every time if I hit one out, I was waiting for the umpire to tell me to slow down. I was like, so I'm like sprinting out, like, all right, thanks. So.
Here's an 0-2. It's inside. Ball one.
There's a place on baseballreference.com that you can go and see the list of everybody who's hit a home run off of you or everybody you've had a home run against.
Is Mark McGwire's against you in Cleveland listed in bold?
It should be. Yeah. That was really nice of you to bring that up, Joe. The one that hit the scoreboard.
That
probably,
one.
yeah. Over the 30 rows of bleachers and then up against what used to be a huge Budweiser sign on the scoreboard. The whole stadium, as Mark was rounding first and the ball finally landed against the scoreboard, just went silent. It was almost like, oh. It's like, oh my gosh. It was windblown.
Here's a fly ball to right center. Dahl is there. I was there a couple of weeks ago in Cleveland, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
Don't tell me
He was looking at the mark. That's what I was wondering.
It's not Mark, but somebody had hit one off of the base of the scoreboard. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about the longest home runs that have been hit there, and that came up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the next day, Sandy Alomar, who was my catcher that day, during stretching, which we have in left field there, went up there to the last row of the bleachers and was trying to jump to show the dent on the scoreboard where it hit. And I said, get down here. You called that pitch.
It's not my fault. You called it.
Fault. I had knocked him down like Brock Stewart did yesterday with Arenado, and then I threw him a slider the next pitch, and it just spun. It just cement mixed right in the middle of the plate. And he took that swing to that low hanging slider right there and just golfed it.
Grandal shoots one into center for a base hit. Yes, Monty Grandal remains hot with a one-out single here in the second.
The wind was blowing out about 20 miles an hour, but he absolutely crushed it. It was one of those ones where it goes above the stadium, and then the ball flattens out because all of a sudden the wind can hit it because it's above the stadium. So the ball flattens out on a trajectory and went with that flat trajectory right into the scoreboard. It never was coming down.
It's like the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Ball screaming out of the stadium.
Yeah.
Now Kendrick with a man at first and one gone in a scoreless second inning, taking strike one.
Didn't we see Hanley Ramirez, Nomar, hit one up here on the, like the walk above?
Yeah, the concourse?
Yeah, up on the concourse with the wind blowing out a little bit. He just absolutely killed one a couple of years ago.
Jock Peterson's had a couple really long ones here.
There's that concourse up there above the bleachers. That's about as many seats as there are in Cleveland. But Cleveland's a double wall out there, and then you have that many seats, and then you have a scoreboard. So think about a ball hitting that Coca-Cola sign out there in left field. That's the way McGwire's hit.
Tied him up, fouled it off, 1-2. Farthest one you ever hit, Nomar?
Oh, I don't know. There was one I had in Seattle that was pretty good, and I remember that the way Seattle's in their bleachers, it was like 4 bleachers were going out, like there's a corner where it can actually go out of the stadium up there where there's nothing behind it.
Kendrick chases for strike 3. That's the third strikeout of the game for Chatwood.
Chatwood is really on his game so far. The location of the fastball and then really convincing the hitters he's going to continue to stay hard, but then every once in a while mixing in this pitch right here that looks like that fastball could be a two-seamer that runs back over the middle of the plate, but no, on the same trajectory ends up being a slider slash cutter.
Speaking of Jock Peterson, here he is. looking for his first hit of this series. He's reached on a couple of walks over the first 2 nights. Ball 1. Pounded inside the bag. A fair ball down the right field line, and extra bases for Peterson. And it actually gets out of play, which is going to buy the Rockies a break. A ground rule double, putting Grandal at third and Peterson to second.
There's going to be a little chat here with Dave Roberts and the umpires, because that interference is from the Colorado Rocky fans here. And they could position these runners and say that one would have scored, because this ball wasn't getting to the outfield very quickly.
Well, especially because it went off of Mark Reynolds' glove, so it definitely changed the way it went to the wall there, and also the way David Dahl, you don't even see him coming into the picture there, so now you finally see him, so you just never know. And he's going to make the argument, because the umpire actually can say, hey, he scores.
Yep.
It's up to the umpire. It's a judgment call. Because of that type of interference, it's a lot different if it was going fair ball and it bounced and then goes into the stands. But the fact that the fan leaned over, it's actually the umpire's call on that one.
So Maeda with men at second and third. Yeah, it's when the fan reaches over the barrier that it becomes a dead ball.
Yep. Chris Woodward would have taken the gamble to send him, because with Maeda coming up, 2 outs.
Here's a 1-0. And Maeda pops one into right. Dahl started back at first, comes on and makes the play to finish the inning. Well, we'll never know what would have happened had that fan not grabbed it. No score to the bottom of the second.
Scored still 0-0, but the Dodgers had an opportunity to possibly get one on the board on a Jock Peterson double down the line, where we actually have a fan interference down there. But have a look at where Grandal is, but look how far Dahl is in right field when the fan actually touches the ball. He's quite a ways from that ball. And then you looked at where Grandal, the reason we were talking about Grandal, because it's up to the umpire to decide if Grandal, if we maybe had somebody else with a little bit more speed and he was already maybe by third base or a step or even on third base by the time that fan interfered, they possibly would have just given him home.
It's the crew chief, Mike Everett, as Mark Reynolds leads off this inning and takes ball 1. You know, one of the famous, and it was not officially fan interference because he didn't reach over the barrier, but one of the most famous involvements of a fan in a game is obviously Steve Bartman in Chicago in 2003. Reynolds flies one to left. Long run for Kendrick. He'll get there. Mike Everett, who is the crew chief here tonight, was the left field line umpire in Game 6 of the 2003 NLCS. Right there where Steve Bartman prevented Moises Alou from catching that ball, and Marlins obviously went on to win that game, win the series, and win the World Series. Here's Daniel Descalso. And ball one. I think one of the probably the most famous non-call or miscall with fan interference was the Jeter home run in the postseason in the late 90s against Baltimore. 1-1.
Before there was replay, go back and see that he clearly leaned over.
Two balls and a strike. Jeffrey Mayer is the fan's name that reached over and caught that home run. And again, had they ruled that it was fan interference, it would have been the umpire's discretion to say what the play would have resulted in, which would have been tricky because it wasn't necessarily a guaranteed catch.
A lot of times they would just put him on second base. They just give it a double.
Didn't Jeffrey Mayer get like season tickets for life after that?
Here's a 3-1. Breaking ball ripped in the ground is second. Utley, 2 out.
That ball just sold for $22,705 at an auction. Jeffrey Mayer ball. And well, it wasn't just now. It was February 22nd, 2015. The article was written about that ball. It just gotten auctioned off.
Christian Adames making his first start of this series. He'll have a more significant role going forward for the Rockies because of Trevor Story's injury. Take strike one. Had a pinch hit, base hit last night, and that has been almost exclusively his role this season, has been coming off of the bench. Not an easy role to have, and it's reflected in his numbers. 4 for his last 40. 1-1 or 0-2.
I'll tell you, there's a completely different feel to these two teams facing each other in this third game than there was in game 1. The Rockies have really turned their season around and are really sticking themselves right in the middle of the wild card race and in the division race.
So 7.5 back in the division, the Rockies are, with the Giants winning earlier today, beating the Phillies in extras. But in the wild card race, 2.5 back, with St. Louis falling to Cincinnati 7-0 earlier. Gonzalez takes the ground ball and feeds Maeda at the bag. And a 1-2-3 second inning for Kenta Maeda, who's getting the job done so far tonight in a scoreless game. 2 more scoreless innings of work for Tyler Chatwood. Trying to figure things out in this ballpark. Omar gave you the numbers off at the top, but he's unbeaten away from home with an ERA near 1. Here Coors Field has earned on average above 5.5. And he loops one low. Ball 1 to Chase Utley.
He will rarely throw that curveball that he tried to drop in on Chase right there. It's about only 5% of the pitches he'll throw.
See what he throws on 1-0. He threw it again and it hit him.
You can see why he doesn't throw it very often.
When you can be effective as he's been in throwing 70% if not more fastballs, then why not? Why always utilize that break ball when you don't have to show on an occasion? As we can see, that one just hits Utley. You know Utley's not going to move. He's like, all right, it's a rock.
Just a flesh
That
wound.
is awesome. And it brings up Seager. Okayed his first time. Rockies have done a good job with the Dodgers' best hitter. Seager 1 for 8 in this series with 5 strikeouts. Chatwood's 1-0. Seager climbs the ladder after a fastball comes up empty. Dodgers have had 16 rookies of the year in their history. It's twice as many as anybody else. Next most, the Yankees have 8. Good chance this guy's the 17th. Flies one to left. Descalso started on. Now goes back at the wall. He makes the catch. What a play by Daniel Descalso for the first out. You hope that he's okay with that awkward crash.
What a tremendous catch out there in left field. This ball just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. Because at first he just kind of froze when the ball was off the bat and recognized how far this was going, and he makes a great catch on it. And I'll tell you, Chase Utley as well, he was already around second base as he should, assuming that that ball was possibly going to fall, and he was thinking about scoring. Watch Chase Utley on this ball. He's watching it. It's in front of him. He's going. If he misses this, he's thinking, I'm scoring on that ball. Touches the base and has to come back. They're checking out Descalso right now.
Fell awkwardly into that wall. And thank God the Players Association has been strong enough over the years that everything needs to be padded in places like that, so the padding saved him. But that was hitting the padding with a head first and then awkwardly into his shoulder.
Yeah, there's padding out there, but it's not the softest of padding. You ask a lot of outfielders, and now you'll say, well, if the wall's padded right, and they'll laugh. They're like, well, technically, yes. But it's still hard.
And Descalso, an infielder by trade. This is only his 7th start in left field this season. Makes a tremendous play, and he's going to stay in the game.
He can shake this off at the beginning, but there's definitely going to be a stiff neck in his future. The adrenaline and competing keeps you out there, but maybe I wouldn't even be surprised in an inning or two we see him scratched and somebody pinch hitting for him.
They're already down one outfielder tonight, Carlos Gonzalez, because of the sprained ankle. That's why Descalso's starting in left, with Dahl flipping over to right. Turner struck out his first time, 1 of 3 Ks so far for Tyler Chatwood. Missed his spot badly, ball 1.
Well, the Dodger blue representative over the fans right there over Justin above the dugout.
Picked on a backhand by Arenado. Around the horn. He's something. Three-time Gold Glover in 3 major league seasons, and probably loads more coming in his big league career. Potential extra bases with a nice backhand that started a double play by Nolan Arenado. One of 2 players in Major League history to win 3 consecutive Gold Gloves in his first 3 big league seasons. Ichiro Suzuki the other. Tony Walters taking strike 1. Ichiro, by the way, still looking for his 3,000th hit. It may come here this weekend. The Marlins are in town. Literally already. They got here last night after finishing up their series at Wrigley yesterday afternoon. Check swing Tapper. Utley bare hands and throws him out. Not an easy play from Chase Utley.
Last inning, Arenado flashing the leather and a great throw to start the double play to end the inning. And now Chase Utley, turnabout's fair play, but he doesn't use the leather, just goes bare hand. Nice solid pickup. Little flip over to Adrian. Start the inning off with an out.
So the pitcher Chatwood. He takes a strike. It's not often you have 2 major league teams in one hotel, like there was here in Denver. Talking with somebody from the hotel, they said pretty much every room was accounted for by somebody as part of either the Dodger traveling party or the Marlins traveling party.
Well, we got to say hi to Don Mattingly last night. So
Lorenzo Bundy also.
Lorenzo.
Didn't see Tim Wallach. They were making the round, shaking hands and reuniting friendships.
Been a good year in Miami. Mattingly's first year there. Good young team. Dodgers will see them as part of a long road trip in September. There's a 1-2. And Maeda strikes him out. Second one of the game for Kenta. 2 away in the 3rd. And don't miss the highly anticipated matchup with the Red Sox when they return to Dodger Stadium for the first time in a few seasons. And on Sunday, the first 40,000 fans receive Dodger Blue socks, courtesy of AM/PM. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions for tickets. Tomorrow night, huge crowd expected. David Ortiz to be honored in a pregame ceremony. So make sure you plan on getting there early. Heavy traffic expected. Extra heavy
Come early and also carpool as many people in a car as you can.
Charlie Blackmon line to left his first time. One and one. Knight has looked good so far.
He sure has. He's going up against a Rockies team that so far in this series in the first two games were batting .394. They were 28 for 71 with 19 runs scored. He's got the pitch count under control so far at 36. Anytime he gets that to cross over 100, he's gone at least 6 innings. That's what the Dodgers could use.
On 2-1. He's got strike 2.
And what he's done so far is, when he's been successful, is establishing that fastball. Early in this game, he's been utilizing it on both sides of the plate.
And he hits Blackmon with a 2-2.
Couple of breaking balls down and in. Chase Utley got hit by a second curveball from Chatwood, and now a little slider slash cutter in there to make sure you don't leave it on the plate. Make sure you get it in, but not quite that far in. Catch a right calf.
So it keeps the inning going for DJ LeMahieu. Grounded out his first time. One of the top hitters in the National League this season with that .323 average. Second season in a row he's hit above 300. He's an all-star last year. Now in his 6th major league season. 5th one with the Rockies. Started his career with 1 season with the Cubs. They drafted him out of LSU. He won a College World Series title. DJ stands for David John. He's born in Visalia, California, bounced around California to Las Vegas to Wisconsin to Michigan growing up. Played his college ball at a powerhouse, or played his high school ball at a powerhouse in Michigan, Brother Rice High School. High school player of the year. And was planning to go to Notre Dame to play baseball, but Paul Mainieri left for LSU and he followed him there.
Do you have a school that you really wanted to go to and just decided not to, or didn't get a big time prospect? I wasn't in high school.
I went, the trips I went on were Notre Dame, Stanford, Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, and he actually came, and I took unofficial ones like UCLA, SC nearby, and it came down to UCLA and Georgia Tech.
LeMahieu with a soft floater. Utley makes the leaping grab. His second nice play of the inning. Bookend nice plays from Utley in this scoreless 3rd. And as we go to the 4th at Coors Field, the Dodgers and Rockies knotted up at 0. Is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. On this day in 1948, that guy right there, Ernie Harwell, announced his first major league game. It was for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was filling in for Red Barber, who undergoing some health issues. And Branch Rickey, who was the GM of the Dodgers at the time, traded for Ernie Harwell. Sent a minor league catcher to the Atlanta Crackers in exchange for Ernie Harwell. He took over in 1948 in a three-man booth with Red Barber and Connie Desmond. And in 1950, Harwell left for the New York Giants, opening up his spot for Vin Scully. Josh Reddick leading off this fourth inning for the Dodgers. Tyler Chatwood bringing him a 1-2 that misses inside. Harwell has said that his greatest contribution to baseball was leaving the Dodgers so Vin Scully could get a major league job.
Mr. Harwell was a great announcer in his own right, but I think he's right as far as letting the Dodger fans have the gift of Vin Scully.
So many years in Detroit for Ernie Harwell, 42 seasons as the Tigers announcer.
His partner over the years at times was Ray Lane when they won the World Championship in 1968. I was a 10-year-old living in Southfield, Michigan. That was my favorite team, the '68 Tigers. For those of you old enough to remember, there was a record album produced at the end of the year called Go Get 'Em Tigers, and it was a big highlight reel of the season with Ray Lane and Ernie Harwell narrating.
That's taken low for ball 4. Reddick has a leadoff walk here in the fourth inning. Ernie Harwell would say stood there like a house by the side of the road. That'd be out of called strike 3. Gonzalez comes up with a man at first, nobody out, and no score in the fourth.
Did you grow up listening to some of the heroes of broadcasting and their calls?
Yeah. I was pretty obsessed with it at a pretty young age.
John Hartong, who hosts the pre and post game show back in the studio, talks about laying under the radio at his parents' house or just listening to Vin Scully broadcast the games and listening to the rhythm and the content and how he did it.
Gonzalez sneaks one through the shift for a base hit, and Reddick heads to third. Dodgers have him at the corners with nobody out here in the fourth inning.
Well, this is the third inning that the Dodgers have had the leadoff runner on base, and now this is the best opportunity so far in this game to get one across home plate as Adrian shoots that through the hole. And once again, we talked about Dodgers doing well taking that extra base. Reddick read that easily and gets to third easily.
And so it's Grandal. Has more homers than anybody in baseball over his last 23 games. He's hit 10 of them. He's laid in a fastball at 95. I think that's the hardest we've seen Chatwood touch tonight. Strike 1.
Going for a little extra juice here in this no-out jam. 2 at 95. That one he hit the target. The first one kind of got away from him, but Yasmani chased it.
Chatwood looking for a strikeout. Grandal trying to put the Dodgers in front, but he swings through it. Strike 3. And sinks into the dirt to get Grandal. Fourth K for Chatwood. First out of the fourth.
Speed him up twice, then slow him down with the breaking ball. Put it in a place where you don't have to throw a strike in an 0-2 count, and trust your catcher will block it.
And the way Chatwood just attacked Yasmani right there, you saw he just was going at him with two hard fastballs. Get it in the hitter's head. I'm coming after you to try to speed up his bat to set him up for that pitch.
Kendrick on the ground into left, a base hit, and a 4th inning lead for the Dodgers. Reddick in to score his first run in a Dodger uniform on a Howie Kendrick RBI single.
Howie hit 8th in game 1, hit leadoff in game 2, now hitting 7th right here in an RBI situation. Picks it up, hitting it into the 6th hole.
Well, Howie came into this game 2 for his last 18, so that was a huge hit right there. Good timing, runner in scoring position, getting them on the board. Now it's up to Jock to have a good at-bat here. We'll see how Chatwood's going to attack him with Maeda behind him, but at the same time, early on, if he gets a pitch he can handle, got to go for it and try to hit it in the gap somewhere.
He's clobbered 16 home runs this season. A tailing fastball for strike 1. Sophomore campaign for Jock Peterson. 26 home runs as a rookie last year. On a 1. That's just low to even the count up.
It's a good job laying off of that pitch. That started off a little bit higher right. It started off as a strike and it fell out of the zone.
Well placed, 1-2. As we're talking about college choices, Jock Peterson was committed to USC when the Dodgers drafted him in 2010 at Palo Alto High School. Waits on this 1-2 and it misses in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chatwood has had success in a lot of different locations against left-handed hitters. That down and in breaking ball, he's had it swung and missed at. He's had the high fastball away that tails up. Been a possible pitch, and Jock has taken inventory of all those. He's just going to have to protect. Really unknown what's going to be thrown here.
Lays off. Good stop by Walters. Counts full.
We talked about how important this game is, just to avoid, first of all, obviously to avoid the sweep, but try to get the momentum back into going home, where they've been playing so well. But the Dodgers, if you look at those first 2 games, the runners on base, they were just 3 for 20 in those first 2 games. And tonight, so far, they're 3 for 10.
Peterson stays alive. We'll do another 3-2. With Gonzalez at second and Kendrick at first and a run in the bank in the 4th. Chatwood has really slowed down his tempo. He's ready. And Peterson takes ball 4. Couple of impressive takes in that trip for Peterson, and the bases are loaded.
Different theories hitting in that 8 hole compared to hitting in the 7 hole when you have the pitcher behind you with runners in scoring position. You've got to really understand what the manager wants you to do, what you should do as far as expanding the strike zone or taking the walk. Right there, Dave Roberts and Jock Peterson trusting that Kenta can drive a run in here.
Reynolds plays in the grass at first. Maeda swings, bounces one to short, picked up by Adames, and he'll throw him out. So a double play finishes the inning, but the Dodgers do get one against Chatwood. And as we go to the bottom of the fourth, it's 1-0.
Last game of this three-game series on the road. Guys, Bud Norris left the game early on Sunday in the first inning with back tightness. Stayed in LA all week, was actually able to throw 20 fastballs off the mound today. He told me earlier that he feels about 90%. He was really happy with his outing today and all the work that he was able to put in. We talked to Dave Roberts. He said he's not sure exactly how this is going to play out moving forward, depending on how Bud feels. So with that Saturday spot still up for grabs, Jose De Leon may get the call-up to get that start. Dave Roberts saying he was really happy with what he was seeing from him in spring training.
Yeah, and Kelly, he is scheduled to throw for Oklahoma City Saturday. De Leon is, so that's how that name was brought up during Dave Roberts' media scrum. So it is at this point all conjecture and just trying to kind of put two and two together and figure out who it may be. It's easy to make that guess, but no official word from the Dodgers on Saturday or official on Sunday either, although they have said that there's a good chance Rich Hill could make his Dodger debut Sunday. So 0-1 to Nolan Arenado, and off the end of the bat, Gonzalez on the run into foul ground, can't get there. Arenado single his first time up. It's his first hit against Maeda, and there's 7 head-to-head meetings this year. How about Kenta Maeda against the Rockies so far? 1 run over 16 innings against the top run-scoring team in the National League. Ball 1.
Doing a good job getting the leadoff hitters tonight. They are 0 for 3 getting on base. The Dodgers putting leading lady on an awful lot. The Rockies in the first 2 games, 5 out of 16 leadoff hitters reach base.
Arenado's homer last night came with 2 strikes. Maeda on 1-2. Misses downstairs, 2-2.
It was a ball, but it sure looked like a strike the way Yasmani Grandal framed it, catching it off the plate and kind of creeping it back there as quick as he could. Gets very high marks on framing around the league.
As we get more and more advanced stats as part of baseball, the spot that is lagged behind is defense. It's the hardest thing to quantify statistically. And the hardest piece of defense to quantify has been catcher's impact on games, specifically the impact of framing. Arenado leading off this 4th inning by pulling a base hit to left. I think he's officially back, guys.
Well, the first leadoff hitter for the Rockies to reach base here in the 4th inning. They accomplished that. Breaking ball that stays up.
See where Yasmani's glove was, wanting that ball down. He did want it to start off as a strike. Wanted to break out a ball to get hopefully that swing and miss or the one off the end of the bat.
So Arenado has both Rockies hits in this game. And here's David Dahl. That one bounces by Grandal.
I don't know how they're going to score this one, but I know Yasmani will tell you to your face that he should have had that ball, even if they scored a wild pitch. This is pretty routine for a big league catcher, just anticipating the ball was going to travel a little further. He'd be able to catch it, but it ended up hitting the dirt first in front of the glove and kicking away.
That's one where you turn the glove the other way, get your body in front of it, and just knock it down, keep it in front.
They do rule it a wild pitch, though. Geez, right after we're talking about Yasmani's impact on the game defensively, let's one by. Come on, Yasmani.
Is that the broadcast jinx?
I guess it would be. Maeda to Dahl with a 1-0 pitch. That drifts away, 2-0. On the 22-year-old out of Alabama, was the 10th overall pick of the Rockies 4 years back. And survived a nasty outfield collision last summer. When I say survive, I mean survive. He had to have emergency surgery to stop internal bleeding. 2-1. Collided with his second baseman on a flare into short right center. Came in, and the second baseman's knee hit him in the side, lacerated his spleen. And instead of trying to repair that spleen, it was lacerated so badly that they just removed it. And that means for the rest of David Dahl's life, he'll have to take medications to overcome not having a spleen. Fly ball hammered to center. Peterson back at the wall. Rockies lead. First Coors Field home run for Dahl, and it's 2-1.
Well, despite that injury, it didn't hurt any of his power. It gets a fastball up in the zone, and he stays on it. One thing about these Rocky hitters, they really don't pull off the ball a whole lot. They stay on it. They're not afraid to use the whole field. They understand that the ball will carry here at Coors Field, so they're not worried about, oh, I got to hit it to one part of the area in order to hit it out. Stays on it and drives it to center field.
And in doing so, has extended his hitting streak to 10 games to open his major league career. Mark Reynolds has his knees buckled on strike one. That's the second longest career opening hitting streak in Rockies history. Juan Pierre has the record, a 16-gamer to open his career. 0-2.
I was thinking about Dahl's approach on that pitch. I'm thinking about man on second, no out. He didn't really look like he was trying to hit the ball to the right side. He was just trying to hit. And I'm thinking, would the theory be with Walt Weiss is you don't want to give yourself up in this ballpark just to move a runner over, because it's such an offensive ballpark. Just hit.
Especially when he's probably looking at the way he's been swinging the bat. You look at the guy behind him, Mark Reynolds. Daniel, well, Descalso's out now. But you also just see these guys that can swing, that can hit it out with one swing.
Yeah, you're not playing in a
that
ballpark.
big inning. Yeah, you can have that one big inning.
You're not playing a ballpark as a pitcher's park where, you know, every one run is going to count. We're going to need those. You're playing where you really want to put up crooked numbers.
It's a little bit different if you're looking at 7th or 8th inning, you're down by one.
Reynolds strikes out swinging like he's done so many times in his career. And one away.
Go upstairs, slowed him down with some breaking balls. Yasmani targets up, gets the ball elevated. Fortunately not up and in where the hitter will flinch and try and get out of the way. Up and over the middle of the plate, a better place to miss right there because you can still get a swing out of it.
And we mentioned 1 run over 6 2/3 in his debut, or 6 1/3 shutout innings, beg your pardon, in his debut in this ballpark in April. And then 3 shutout innings to open this one as he misses with ball 1 to Ynoa. It's interesting that Maeda has had the success in a small sample that he's had here, because what is the equation for pitching well here? It's having a fastball that you can rely on, not having to rely on a breaking ball because it doesn't typically break here how it does anywhere else. And Maeda profiles opposite of that. Second lowest fastball percentage in the National League.
But the thing that Kenta is not below average in is pitching intelligence and really understanding what it's going to take here and having good misses. And I think that's what we have seen in all of his good games. It's not always about the stuff. It's about understanding how to pitch and having really good misses.
Guess he asked a lot of questions going into his first start here about what he could expect, how that ball would behave coming out of his hand. They've never pitched an altitude like this before.
And he's definitely not below average in fastball location, so when he's backed into a place where he needs to throw a few more fastballs at the altitude, he's okay at locating them.
And he threw more fastballs in his outing here at Coors Field back in April than he has in any other start this year as far as percentage of his total pitches thrown. Ynoa, foul ground that'll reach the seats. You know, anytime somebody comes over from Japan or anytime somebody debuts in the majors, you wonder about the second time that the league sees it. Back in spring training, Dave Roberts was asked about that with Kenta Maeda, and he had a really interesting response to it. His thought was that there was a chance that Maeda would be better the second time the league saw him because of this pitch ability you're talking about, because of the way he prepares and knows how to operate. And he gets on strike 3.
I think it's a pretty good theory as we watch this changeup, knowing that the changeup is not going to bite if you start at waist high and go to the knees. So he starts it at the knees, ends up in the dirt, and that's the perfect location at this altitude especially.
So 2 gone for Adames, who attacks the first one foul.
And it's interesting you were saying that about Kenta going that second time through to seeing a team, and he has done well in that area. But the interesting thing that he has struggled on is when he's actually gone through the lineup that third time, when the hitter's seen him a third time over the course of a game. You know, the average that second time through, first time, second time through are below 200, and then it jumps up to over 340 that third time through. So yeah, he's been able to make adjustments to teams from the next start, but that's one thing he himself has to, over the course of the game, to get deeper in the game, is make an adjustment there, being more effective on the back end of the game.
Towards the back end of the second trip through the lineup here, and he loops one in for strike 2 on Adames.
Third time through the order, he usually loses a little bit of that precision, and since the stuff isn't above major league average as far as velocity, I think it is as far as location. But if the location starts to go, you see the batting averages start to rise. And I think early on also he would default more to the slider in the third time around, as pitch he had the most confidence in, and the league started to catch up to that pattern, and he and the Dodgers and the catchers especially have made an adjustment to that, using the fastball a little bit more often.
Oh, he gets Adames on the foot with a 2-strike pitch. Second batter that he's hit. Both of them with 2 strikes.
3 guys hit in the game, and you don't see any warnings from the umpires, and that's because all 3 guys have gotten hit on breaking balls, and all 3 guys were left-handed and got hit on their front foot.
Two gone, and here's Tony Walters. Seeing his first action of this series tonight. 24-year-old rookie who was claimed off of waivers this offseason. Former Cleveland Indian farmhand who hadn't played above Double-A before breaking the season with the big league club. He's a former infielder. While he was in the Indians organization, Terry Francona suggested that he try catching. He had never caught before. He's made the transition, and it's turned his career around. Studied a lot of video of the great catchers the last few years. Watched a lot of Pudge Rodriguez, a lot of Yadier Molina, a lot of Russell Martin.
But the one thing you have to experience yourself is putting on that mask and having a guy with a bat in front of you, swinging it, and still trying to catch it and catch it properly. Having him swing the bat, and you got to catch the ball and throw it to a base. It's real interesting. I was back there as a kid, and I'm like, I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of this. Foul tips are a lot of fun too.
Did you ever catch, Nomar?
My favorite position is.
Was it?
Yep.
Really?
Loved it.
Wow. I was so appreciative of the good ones.
My sophomore year in high school, I was the catcher on the varsity team. Wow. And the gear was bigger than I was.
Did you blink when the bat came in front of the ball?
That was the challenge. You were always trying not to blink as the swing.
Swinging the ball or arriving at the same time.
Yep.
That's what I could.
Challenge.
And I had glasses. I didn't get contacts till out of college. So with glasses and a catcher's mask, and they get fogged up and dirty. It was a pain. I told my coach only in emergencies. After then, like, I'll be the 3rd or 4th or 5th catcher, but only in emergencies.
Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be my future position when I was running, and all you could hear is the equipment rattling because I wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
Walters down on strikes on an off speed, and the inning is over. But the Rockies have taken the lead on a David Dahl home run onto the 5th. Crew who dug this up. Oh my goodness, it's McGuire's home run against Oral. You weren't lying.
Well, it was a long way. Appreciate you guys down there in the truck. You did a very nice job finding that.
That wasn't right. I mean, we talked about it so much, and that was enough. We didn't have to see it. I mean, people could have looked it up.
Don't get on his side.
I mean, what? I mean, really?
No, I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did at home.
I don't like the paint scrapers, I'll tell you that. I'd rather hit them that far.
Earn it.
Right. So you could admire it too.
Oh, for sure,
Right.
I did.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to take my glove off and applaud him as he came around third. But
Just, I'll tell you, that year, '97, the All-Star game was at Cleveland. And during batting practice, Mark McGwire was hitting that back wall on a regular basis during batting practice.
Wow.
So if that makes you feel any better.
well, I supplied the power for that
Yeah,
one.
exactly. So
Breaking ball just hanging right there.
Chase Utley leading off this 5th inning for the Dodgers, now trailing for the first time tonight after the David Dahl home run. Utley's reached both times with a single, and he was hit by a pitch. 1-1. Utley's always hit well in this ballpark. Well above 300 here in his career. Waits on a 1-1 and pulls one on a bounce to Reynolds. One gone. Corey Seager coming to the plate. You can celebrate his All-Star rookie season on August 25th when the Dodgers host the Giants, with the first 40,000 fans having a chance to get that bobblehead presented by your Southern California BMW centers. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Speaking of the Giants, winners and extras today against Philadelphia, 3-2 in Matt Moore's Giants debut. Moore went 6 innings. Seager with a towering drive to deep right center field. That ball ties this game. Number 19 of the season for Seager, and it's 2-2 in the 5th.
well, we know Corey Seager's aggressive early in the count. You have Chatwood, who's been pounding the zone. He gets one up in the zone, and Corey Seager, what I love watching him is his at-bat prior. We saw that incredible play out in left field by Descalso. So he hits one to left field, and then this one he pulls it to right center. He uses the whole field. You cannot shift on him. You don't see shifts on him. People play everywhere because he hits him to all fields, and he has power to all fields.
And now Justin Turner ahead in the count, 2-0. On a game that you detailed off of the top, Nomar, has some added importance. Yes, it's 1 of 162, but it's a game where the Dodgers have dropped the first 2 in the series. On a day where the Giants beat the Phillies. And the micro of that macro is that Corey Seager, right after the Dodgers saw the lead disappear, evened it right back up.
We talked about the importance at the top, obviously, to avoid the sweep, but also the way Colorado has been playing. They've been the hottest team in baseball since the All-Star break. They've made up some ground in the division.
Now Turner in the air to deep center. Blackman back. He's at the wall. It's off the wall. Justin Turner stops at second with a 1-out double. And he just barely misses going back-to-back with Seager.
The other thing about Justin Turner, we've been talking about him swinging a hot bat, but he too has been driving the ball to center field, right center. It's not always just pull. I think when he was struggling, there were times he'd get way out in front with his timing was off and everything was a pull. But this one just had some carry on it. Gets a double.
And so the go-ahead run in scoring position for Reddick, who takes way outside, ball 1.
Justin Ball, if that's hit a little bit farther left, he creeped into the double wall out there. Real close to going out on the single wall.
Put that screen in prior to this season. 1-1 on Reddick. They doubled the height out there in right center field, and it's already taken away quite a few home runs this season, many of them from Trevor Story, who leads the National League but would have more if not for that screen. Chatwood's 1-1, and Reddick looks at strike 2.
That was a big pitch right there. I mean, the difference in 2-1 changed the whole at bat, and that one looked like it was slightly off the plate, and Chatwood got the call.
Stays alive. Yeah, that 1-1 pitch. When the count goes to 1-2, on base percentage in the majors is .227. When the count goes to 2-1, on base percentage is .381.
And we saw there, had another look at it. That was off. That was definitely off the plate. And that swing is so different. That next swing is a defensive swing.
Josh Reddick scored the first run off of Chatwood with a walk in the last inning right here. Could really put a spark in the Dodgers, put them back on top with a base hit.
Turner at second and 1 gone. Here comes another 1-2. It's in the dirt. 2-2. So this is the second game we've seen Reddick in a Dodger uniform, and he's still looking for that first hit. But he sure is quiet in the box, sure is calm in there.
I was talking on the pregame show about Josh Reddick. Of this game, we talked about the importance of this game for the Dodgers to get the momentum back home, but for him as well. Kind of, if he can have a big game, knock in somebody, get that first hit out of the way. Talk about different things that can spark a team, and Josh Reddick has been known to spark teams with the energy that he brings on a daily basis to a team. But at the same time, just kind of come into a new team and feel like you're more a part of it, especially if you can have a big day on a big game like this and take that and go play in front of a home crowd.
And he pops this one up into right center field. Blackmon and Dahl. It's Dahl. So 2 gone, and it's up to Gonzalez. The Red Sox coming to town this weekend. Back-to-back former Red Sox in the Dodger lineup with Reddick and then Gonzalez. They played together some there. Reddick said it was an honor for him to look on the lineup card for his Dodger debut the other night and see that he was hitting between Justin Turner and Adrian Gonzalez, and recalled those times in Boston when he was debuting, when Adrian was the 3-hitter and Reddick was sitting down at the bottom of the order. Adrian 1 for 2 tonight, sitting on 299 home runs. 19 of those 299 have come in this ballpark. He's tied with Matt Kemp for the most any active visiting player here. On 2-0. Hard hit up the middle. Diving play by LeMahieu. His throw to first. Not in time. Gonzalez beats it out.
They're going to have another look to see if Adrian did indeed beat this ball out. But what a tremendous play by LeMahieu. Whether he gets him out or not at first base, just the fact that he ended up saving a run by making that tremendous play.
And it was Adames. It's my fault, Omar.
I'm sorry, Adames.
Adames makes the play. Mark Reynolds, not the most adept first baseman out there, really had a chance. If he could have figured out a way to pick that plus stretch, probably could have turned it into an out. But he retreated a little bit in his play at first base right there, which gave the Dodgers about 2-3 feet for that ball have to travel a little bit farther and allowed Gonzalez to be safe.
And so now Grandal, who's 1 for 2.
And on that, it's tough for a first baseman because if you're reaching out to go for that pick, you got to make sure you have it, especially with a man going to third. So your first thing is thinking, especially when you see a play like that, all right, at least it doesn't go by me. If we get the out, we're fortunate, but don't go by me to get that run in.
I don't want to hear how tough it is no more. I want you to do it. That's what Tommy Lasorda would say.
I would tell you as a pitcher, like, how do you not do it? I'm like,
Take
well,
the risk.
I wanted to save the run.
That's right.
I was thinking of your ERA.
No, you know what? Actually, if I'm on the mound and I'm confident I'm throwing the ball well, I want you to take the safe route because I'm confident I'm going to get the next guy out.
Two on to Grandal is hit towards right center field, and the Dodgers have retaken the lead. It goes all the way to the wall. Turner scores. They send Gonzalez. Relay to the plate is not in time. 2-run triple for Yasmani Grandal, and the Dodgers have taken a 4-2 lead.
We always talk about 2-out RBIs, how demoralizing they are to the opposing team, how uplifting they are to your team when you come through, and that was a huge hit by Yasmani Grandal. Not only just knock in one, but to be able to knock in Adrian all the way from first base, and we see that awkward slide from Adrian. I don't know what he was switching in his hand there. I don't know if he know what leg, but the important thing is that he was smiling, so I assume he's okay.
That is Grandal's first triple since 2014. So after Dahl puts the Rockies in front with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Dodgers have answered with a 3 spot here in the 5th against Chatwood. And now it's Kendrick, who started the scoring with a base hit in the 4th. Grounds it to second. This time it is LeMahieu picking it and throwing him out. Corey Seager's home run tied the game at 2. His 19th of the season, which matches him with Hanley Ramirez for the most by a Dodgers shortstop in a single season. by Carl's Jr. Introducing the Bacon Three-Way Burger, only at Carl's Jr. Seager's home run tied it. Grandal's triple broke the tie. And it's 4-2 Dodgers. Halfway home at Coors Field. Omar Garciaparra, Orel Hershiser, Kelly Tennant, Joe Davis. And Kenta Maeda again pitching with the lead as he deals to his counterpart Chatwood. A breaking ball for strike one. Chatwood, one of the 5 strikeout victims of Maeda so far, who's allowed those 2 runs on only 3 hits. David Dahl home run in the 4th inning, accounting for the Rockies scoring. Chatwood to short. There's Seager. Time for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We've talked quite a bit about Kenta Maeda trusting that fastball more, and as he started to use it more in the month of June, the numbers weren't very good, but in the month of July, much better on that fastball.
Location, location, location.
It was a big inning for Kenta Maeda, who won not only for that shutdown inning we always talk about, especially after your team takes the lead, but 2, now he's starting to get that 3rd time through the lineup. Where the numbers and the batting average seem to increase quite a bit.
And the 3rd trip through begins with Charlie Blackmon, who in his last 5 games has 10 hits and 8 runs. 1-1.
First time through the order for Kenta. Rockies 1 for 9 with 2 Ks. Second time through the order, 2 for 7 with 3 Ks. And here we begin the 3rd time through the order.
Now the ground to Gonzalez with Maeda covering, 2 gone. Dodgers have dropped 4 of 6. They've lost back-to-back games for the first time since the opening series of the second half, where they had those 2 one-run losses against Arizona. They've only been swept twice. Marlins swept the Dodgers back in late April. The Angels swept them in a 2-game series in May. And trying to avoid the sweep tonight, trying to stay 2 games back of the Giants in the West. He was 0 for 2. And here comes Maeda. Strike 1. With these 2 outs in the 5th inning, this is the first time since last weekend the Dodgers starter has recorded an out in the 5th.
Last 3 starters went a total of 7 1/3 innings. McCarthy, Norris, and Stewart. So Kenta, knowing that going in, has done a fine job getting to this point in the game.
Here comes his 1-1. Painted 1-2.
Nice catch by Yasmani behind the plate, using the webbing of the glove to just catch that one and leaving the bulk of the glove on the plate. Make it look and be more representative of a strike.
The 28-year-old from Japan. He made his pro debut when he was only 20. 8 seasons in the Japanese Central League. He was an all-star 5 times there. 2-time winner of Japan's equivalent of the Cy Young Award, including last season. His 2-2 to LeMahieu is in the dirt. The 8th Japanese-born Los Angeles Dodger. One of them is his manager, Dave Roberts. He's born to a military family. Japanese mother. father who was in the U.S. military. So Dave was born in Japan, but he moved all over the place growing up, a lot like DJ LeMahieu, who we mentioned earlier. Born in California, bounced all over the place. In Dave's case, it was from Japan to California and other spots in California, then North Carolina. He got to go live in Hawaii for a while before his family settled in San Diego for high school. He was a star athlete there, football and baseball. Mayhew chops one to Seager, lunges forward and completes a 1-2-3 inning. Getting it done in both phases tonight is Corey Seager. A home run and now a nice defensive play to help Maeda pitch a 1-2-3 fifth. It's been overcast much of the night, but little sprinkles during batting practice fortunately didn't turn into anything more. And here we are, starting the 6th inning in a 4-2 game. Jock Peterson taking ball 1 from Tyler Chatwood. He gave up 1 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th. Jock's reached both times, a double and a walk. Against Chatwood. Chatwood started his career in the Angels organization and debuted with the Angels in 2011. Traded here for Chris Iannetta. Here comes a 2-1. There goes a high drive down the right field line that he hooks foul. Chatwood, only active starting pitcher in the majors that's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. We mentioned that right off of the top. Really extraordinary case. The guy who's been able to rehab back from it successfully, not just once, but twice. And the extra unique thing about his is that they were spaced out so far. Statistically gives you a better chance to succeed coming back from a second one. 8 years between his Tommy John as a high schooler and then in 2014. He gets Peterson swinging for the first out of the inning. Red Sox headed to Dodger Stadium for the first time in a few years, so make sure you don't miss it. Starts tomorrow night, goes through Sunday. It'll be the only time these teams meet for the next few years, at least in the regular season. Don't wait, buy your tickets today. Visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
And that first one come early. Friday rush hour plus a big crowd expected, and also a pregame ceremony for Mr. David Ortiz.
And what a season David Ortiz is having, huh? He's a 40-year-old in his 20th year. Just waiting for him to say, okay, just kidding, I'm coming back.
Well, he said at the All-Star game that somebody would loan him 2 new feet, as his feet are just walking around carrying that big body for all these years. His feet have broken down on him, and it is just painful for, even when he hits balls in the gap that roll to the wall, he'll still just get a single. He can barely move coming out of the box.
Leads the majors in OPS. And he's walked Maeda. Kenta with a 1-out walk here in the 6th inning. Chatwood not happy. That was called a ball by Tim Timmons, but it teased things up for Chase Utley. David Ortiz, guys, one of 3 players in Major League history, 500 home runs and 600 doubles. He got there this year, joining Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds. Get a chance to see him this weekend at Dodger Stadium. Although it'll be interesting to see how the Red Sox use him this weekend without the DH. When they played in San Francisco earlier this year, Ortiz did not play. Or at least did not start.
He's more of that big bat off of the bench.
Oh,
Well, definitely not a pinch runner.
no.
I think a lot like Oro was mentioning. The fact about his feet. Standing out there all that time just to play first for this series. So it definitely will be interesting to see how he's used over the next 3 games.
Ortiz has hit 25 home runs here in his age 40 season. There's only been one 30 home run season by a 40-year-old. It was Darrell Evans in Detroit, 1987, hit 34. Knuckleballer Stephen Wright scheduled to go for the Red Sox tomorrow. Eduardo Rodriguez on Saturday, and then David Price on Sunday. Strike 3 called on Chase Utley. Second punch out of the inning for Chatwood. Up comes Corey Seager. We look back at our top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. It's his home run that tied the game in the 5th inning before Grandal tripled home a pair to bring us to our current score.
Corey picked on a changeup right there, and Chatwood's changeup has gotten hit 2 out of 6 times when he's thrown it. The triple by Yasmani Grandal that drove in a couple was the changeup, and Corey Seager's home run was the changeup. Guy who throws almost more fastballs in the National League than anybody other than Bartolo Colon has gotten hurt for 3 runs on one of his lesser pitches.
And you have a hard time living with that, right?
Especially when you hang it like he did. Both of those pitches were up and right down the middle, and we've seen Kenta Maeda today make some bad off-speed pitches, but they were in the dirt and down. He hasn't made his mistakes up, and that can be the difference in a game anywhere, no matter what altitude.
One and two. Seager's homer was his 19th. Saw it on the graphic when he came off. That ties him with Hanley Ramirez for the most in a single season by a Dodgers shortstop. Chatwood pumps a 1-2. Eventually. Fly ball to center. Charlie Blackmon cruises under it. Now brings his 6th inning to a close. On to the bottom half in Denver. The Dodgers 4, the Rockies 2.
Here's some highlights from Kenta Maeda's night. A bunch of his strikeouts, couple on high fastballs, and then changeup non-mistakes from Kenta right here. You see he's missing low or right on the corner with that changeup. He's piled up 5 Ks, 3 flyouts, and 7 groundouts tonight.
And into the 6th inning he goes. He's had good numbers against the Rockies now in 3 starts. Against the top offense in the National League as far as runs per game. That, of course, is inflated by this ballpark. But make no mistake, these guys can hit no matter where they're at. Nolan Arenado climbs in. He's 2 for 2. 2 of the 3 hits the Rockies have against Maeda, both of them singles. 2nd round pick of the Rockies at 09. Grew up friends with Trace Thompson, and Trace was taken 2 picks behind him. Comes in 0-1, spins low, ball 1. And he grew up a Dodger fan, like we've talked about a couple of times in this series. Idolizing Adrian Beltre was his guy. Dodger blue. First man in the hot corner. Popped into shallow left. Kendrick was playing really deep, so he's got a long way to go to get it. Somebody told Nolan Arenado at the All-Star game that Adrian Beltre had said something about how impressed he was with Arenado, and Nolan just lit up. This is his hero growing up, who now recognizes him as his equal and as one of the great players in the game right now.
They both play defense at third base in unbelievable fashion, but play it completely differently.
Here's Dahl. There's ball 1.
Adrian Beltre is a great third baseman, no question about that. But Arenado
Is better.
From a defensive standpoint, is really, really fun to watch. He's like on another. To me, he's one of the best third basemen I've ever seen. From a defensive standpoint,
he's not always been like that. Defense has not always been his strength. Comes a 2-0 to Dahl. You know, the Baseball America handbook that comes out each year and profiles teams' prospects. 2011, it said he would be better suited at first.
They got that wrong.
They did. He said it was Troy Tulowitzki that encouraged him to pay more attention to his defense. He got in better shape. He was a little bit overweight when he first started his pro career. Shed 20 pounds. Started working more on his defense. Now he's a 3-time Gold Glover in his first 3 years. Dahl checks on Seager. Stabs it with a backhand. 2 out. Now you guys have talked about how you see these plays Arenado makes at third. Makes him look easy where he crosses over the line into foul ground and throws across his body. But he's working on that exact play every single day.
I was watching him during batting practice today. Sure enough, that's all part of his routine. And that's what great players do. Great defensive players. You know, batting practice isn't just to get loose. It's with a purpose. And he is working on all of those plays, the plays we see him make on a regular basis. He's working on them every day. He's charging the ball, barehanding it, throwing it across his body. He's going to his right and foul territory, throwing it across his body. He throws the ball from every angle, his different arm slots, and with authority, with velocity. That's one thing to me similar between him and Adrian Beltre. Beltre could also throw the ball with velocity from different arm slots. The only difference is Beltre never seemed to wind up. It looked like it was just from one spot and it was
Snap
just
of the wrist.
Yeah, and it was coming out.
The other thing he'll do is he'll read the scouting report, know where he's going to be on all the shifting that day, and he'll take a few ground balls at every position that he's going to play that night. A lot of guys do that now.
And oh yeah, he leads the National League in homers and RBIs.
Oh. That was a very powerful left side of the infield when Trevor Story was over there and healthy.
Yeah, they're tied for the National League lead in homers. Scary thought. He's only 25.
That's really good for baseball.
Maeda wanted it, instead 2-2. Omar wanted it too. He's
That was a good pitch by
Oh.
Maeda. Wow.
We
Didn't
got
get
time
the
to look
call.
at the strike zone right here.
Oh. That's one of those you give it to him. Good pitch. Take it to the dugout.
I can tell you're not a hitter anymore.
I was going to say, spoken like a pitcher. Reynolds base hit to left.
Nomar has officially crossed over to Dodger broadcaster.
No.
He has left the hitting fraternity.
Not totally. I was just like, that was a good pitch. I was looking at the moment. The moment was a big pitch right there. He needed it. Look what happened. Then he ends up getting a base hit right after that. But he knew that was a big pitch and he didn't get the call. Sometimes as a hitter, there were times I knew, all right, I got that one. I was fortunate to get the call my way.
And in 96 pitches, he's going to pull Maeda.
Well, third time around the order, then now the Rockies are 1 for 5, but the track record would tell you third time around the order and around this pitch count that Kenta can start to lose it, and Dave Roberts is going to be aggressive right here and move to the pen.
Rafael Noah coming up. Representing the tying run for the Rockies. Pedro Baez coming in. charged against him since June. And he comes into the game with a tying run at the plate. 4-2, bottom of the 6th. That's a span for Baez of 13 outings without giving up a run. He's only allowed 3 hits during that stretch.
Last outing was on July 31st against Arizona. Pitched an inning, got a K. So he's feeling very confident. And Dave Roberts giving him a little breathing room here, not bringing him into a nail-biting situation. 2 out, the man on first. So get Kenta out, up the tunnel with a good outing, and get Baez on the mound in a pretty manageable situation.
It's Rafael Ynoa. Called up from Albuquerque earlier this week with Trevor Story. He placed on the disabled list. Not that it was comfortable before, but you watch 90 whatever eye level. Can't imagine this is a real comfortable spot to stand. Rafael Ynoa on 1-0. Strike 1. Pulled the string on him to even the count.
A smart pitch right there from Yasmani Grandal. Gets his young reliever coming in, hasn't pitched in a while, and he throws the first one neck high. Misses his target by a mile. Kind of back him off emotionally and call a changeup.
All the guys from the Dominican Republic facing off. Baez and Ynoa. Here's a 1-1. And there's a pop-up foul, strike 2.
Pedro shook to the slider. He's got to feel real frisky out there on the mound as far as strength is concerned. The key right here, you're ahead in the count. Just if you're going to go breaking ball or something off speed, make sure it's below the knees. You're going to go fastball, shoulder high, or below the knees.
Or head high.
It's hard to get a hitter to swing at something above their eyes.
Maeda hoping that he can strand the runner at first and close the book on Kenta. In position to beat the Rockies. It's 4-2 in the 6th. Dodgers trying to get 1 win in this 3-game series and remain 2 games back of the Giants. Baez with a 2-2 and a fly ball to the opposite field at Howie Kendrick. That's the inning. Maeda goes 5 2/3. Baez comes on. He gets the final out of the 6th to send us to the late innings. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. Boone Logan comes in for the Rockies in a 4-2 game in the 7th. It's been a good season for him, his best season in a Colorado uniform. Here in his 3rd year with the Rockies, he was a guy that, when it was looking like the Rockies were sellers, would be most likely to be dealt. It's in the final year of his deal, but they ultimately held on to him. And the best numbers that he's posted as a Rocky. It's the heart of the Dodger order. Turner, Reddick, Gonzalez in this inning. Turner doubled off the top of the wall and scored the go-ahead run on Grandal's triple in the 5th inning. Line to center, and Blackman is there. So 1 gone, and up comes Josh Reddick. And his first week with the Dodgers. He's from Georgia, where he grew up learning the game from his father, Kenny. Kenny was a lineman for a power company in Georgia, and 1 year after Josh was born, it was a horrible accident where Kenny was electrocuted to the point where he was legally dead for 2 to 3 minutes before paramedics brought him back to life. Kenny lost half of his left arm, much of his right hand in the incident, and has never been able to get back to work, but from that moment on devoted his life to raising and coaching Josh and his brother. And so in middle school, when Josh was cut from his school's team and had to find a new team, his dad launched a team for Josh to play on. Reddick's Renegades, they called them, and they took all the guys that had issues sticking with other teams nobody wanted, and that band of misfits won just about every game with Kenny as its coach. There's a 1-2 and bounces in, and it evens up on Josh Reddick. Not only made the team when he got to high school, but still wasn't highly touted by any stretch. Didn't even homer until he was 17 years old. Went the JUCO route. And the Red Sox drafted him, but they drafted him in the 17th round. So started out as an under-the-radar guy, but went from somebody who was cut from his middle school team to eventually a top Boston prospect to an above-average major leaguer. Shoots one the other way. Arenado's got it and throws him out.
We talked to a lot of parents through the years after we accomplished and made it to the big leagues, and everybody has a story on how they got exposed or got to the big leagues through different things. I was cut from my high school team till my junior year. I was cut from my college team till my junior year. I was not really a prospect, drafted in the 17th round. There's so much exuberance from parents today. They think about getting their youngsters exposed at such an early age. I mean, all the way 8- and 9-year-old parents worried about, I got to get my kids seen. I got to be on the right teams. It's like, if you end up good enough, they're going to find you.
Or they feel like they have to play one sport and specialize at such a young age. I mean, how many times do we always talk about the bios of all of these players in the big leagues, and we'll talk about, oh, they were an unbelievable football player, they were an incredible basketball player, or they were going to college to do this another sport other than baseball.
Didn't start pitching till their junior year in college,
right.
or were drafted as a catcher and then switched over. Kenley Jansen, who might get a save in this game.
Raise them to be good athletes.
well-rounded, and you learn so much from all the different sports. You know, finesse maybe from one sport and strength from another and jumping ability from another. You get to rest your arm in the off-season.
Opposite field fly ball off of the bat of Adrian Gonzalez to Rafael Ynoa, who misplays it horribly into extra bases for Gonzalez. Just lost it.
2-out RBI potential now, and also a 4th out in the inning, and both of those things can hurt in big ways. And with the Dodgers with a 2-run lead right here, a gift is given from the left fielder of the Rockies.
So when you look at the replay, you're wondering, did he lose it or did he just miss it?
Yeah. He's the third choice, let's remember, to be out there tonight. Would have been David Dahl, but Carlos Gonzalez hurt, so Dahl had to flip over to right. So Descalso, who is a shortstop, started out there instead. Ynoa replaced Descalso after he banged into the wall and had to leave with an injury. It was Grandal's triple that put the Dodgers in front in the 5th inning. Here he's behind Logan, 0-2. It was his first triple since 2014 at Wrigley Field. Well, he was a San Diego Padre. And he swings at one of the dirt for strike 3. Walters finishes it off. Stretch time at Coors Field. Dodgers in front of the Rockies 4-2. Dodgers trying to snap this first consecutive games lost streak since the opening series of the second half. And with a 4-2 lead, Pedro Baez back out there after getting the final out at the bottom of the 6th. Baez on for the 7th. The bottom part of the Rockies order coming up. Adames, Walters in the pitcher's spot. Rockies are above 500 post All-Star break for the first time since 2010. They've done it by being the best team in baseball since the break, going 14-5. Baez comes home and Adames fouls it off, strike 1. Rockies have lost at least 88 games, been at least 18 games out of first, 5 consecutive years since that 2010 season. This franchise was established in '93. They've only had 6 winning seasons. Been to the postseason 3 times. 0-2.
We talked earlier how they've kind of climbed into the National League West race, not only the wild card. And people were like, oh, well, they're 7.5 back now with the Giants winning this afternoon, but the Dodgers were only 6.5 back at the All-Star break. The Giants have kind of let a few teams walk back into this race.
By going to Major League worse, 5-13 since the break.
The Rockies are also looking up at the board and seeing that St. Louis lost today. They're in the wild card race. They look up there, and in the 8th, Atlanta's ahead of Pittsburgh 3-2. They're in the wild card race. They've had a lot of good news lately.
And then they're going to have 3 with the Marlins right after once the Dodgers lead.
It's right in front of them. You can see the look in their eyes, and you see when they come out for batting practice and stretching, they're just a little more pep in their step, that they're playing for something. They're not 18.5 back like they have been in a lot of past years.
Baez fires 1-2, and Adames swings through an elevated fastball for strike 3.
When you say that about that little pep in the step and then that look in their eye, well, I'm sure they're going against. We talk about the Marlins doing the same thing. They've been at it for quite a few years, as we see Baez climbing the ladder to get that strikeout. So it might be an interesting series between those two, with 2 teams that haven't been there in a long time. Both teams feeling like they've been out of it so early in the season, and now fighting for that possible wild card.
Tony Walters now. Rockies last went to the postseason in '09. Marlins last went in '03. That's the 2nd longest postseason drought. Can you name the longest?
Seattle Mariners.
Got it. 01. That incredible 01 team. Ichiro's rookie season. Here's a 1-0. Walters fouls it off 1-1.
The Marlins are going to limp in here too. They just got swept by the Cubs, and they lost in a disgusting way in the last game with a walked in the run, and then the next run, bases loaded, wild pitched in. So they're going to have to respond from that emotional loss and sweep.
Tell you what, I don't think you want to play the Marlins in the wild card game, because you're going to get Jose Fernandez.
Yep.
I'm just kind of looking up and down the wild card standings. They may be the team that you would least want to face out of the group chasing the Dodgers in those wild card standings right now. Here's a 2-1. 2-2.
Is Garrett Cole healthy for Pittsburgh? I'm not sure he is. I'm trying to think of all the possible wild card opponents for anybody who's got the pitcher. And Jose Fernandez might be the guy.
Yeah, Cole is back healthy now. Good numbers, 7-6, 273. He lost the wild card game last year to Jake Arrieta. Here's a 2-2. It's outside and the count's full. So who else? I mean, Cardinals right now have the top spot in the wild card. Would you see Wainwright, or would they throw Carlos Martinez?
Wainwright has been good of late, gotten better.
The way it always plays out down toward the stretch, when those teams are battling for that wild card spot, sometimes they may have to throw their ace before that just to get into that one game. So
exactly.
Just never know how it will work out.
We all have our fingers crossed and sending up big time thoughts for Clayton Kershaw.
Diving play, Turner to his feet, to first to get him. Justin Turner with a Gold Glove caliber play at third.
Just an incredible play by Justin Turner. Not easy when it's coming off the bat. When you have a lefty there coming the opposite way, you laying out, stretched out, hard hit, making the play, getting to his feet, making a perfect throw to first base as we have a look at a Morongo slow-mo cam.
He's been so good over there this year.
The third inning, Arenado made a play like that, but turned it into a double play, fed the ball to second.
Ryan Rayburn pinch hitting, strike one.
And that was Justin Turner's bullet that Arenado turned into 2 outs. Justin Turner right there. Little payback.
I know I said Marlins might be the team I'd say you at least want to face, but you could probably make a case for the Mets with Noah Syndergaard in a one-game playoff.
DeGrom.
Dribble up along third. Will stay foul. Who do you think the Rockies would throw?
That's interesting. Depending on where the game is, I think would be their first thought about who pitches best at home, if it's here or if it's on the road at sea level.
You look at right now on the road, the guy who started today, Tyler Chatwood, is 6-0 on the road.
Yeah, with one of the best ERAs in baseball on the road.
I think they saw some impressive pitchers in this series.
John Gray, Jordan Lyles.
John Gray, and then Tyler Anderson yesterday.
Tyler Anderson. Yep.
I think Gray would be my guess.
And they know internally who could handle the pressure a little bit better than maybe somebody else, or who they would choose. But like you said, Nomar, the timing, you might not be able to choose.
Right.
You're going to be all hands on deck just to get into that game, probably. And we're not talking about a 2-team race for that wild card spot. You're probably talking about a 4-team, maybe a 5-team race.
Pass Gonzalez, Rayburn with a pinch hit single. And you mentioned the hopes that Clayton Kershaw comes back. How about hoping you don't need Clayton Kershaw for a wild card game because you're not in it. You're right into the post, right into the NLDS by winning a 4th consecutive division title. Here are the wild card standings. Teams we're talking about. Still a lot of baseball to be played, though. Pittsburgh all too familiar with the wild card game. They fell in the wild card game again last year to the Cubs. Their 3rd consecutive wild card game. 2nd year in a row they dropped that wild card matchup. There's Charlie Blackmon, top of the Rockies order, representing the tying run against Baez in the 7th. And he just misses outside at 96 for ball 1. Luis Avila, the man warming in the Dodger bullpen, getting into a spot that was Adam Liberatore territory. Liberatore on the disabled list with a sore elbow.
A 2-out hit, and all of a sudden the tying run's at the plate. A couple of theories here about pitch selection, because with a left-handed hitter and the ball carries to right field here very well. It carries everywhere, but especially carries well to right field. You might want to stay hard and stay hard away because you want to get the ball hit to the biggest part of the ballpark. There's Monty and Pedro trying to get on the same page on what to throw here.
Here comes a 1-0 and a missile. Look out in the seats.
You're not only thinking about how to get him out, but you're trying to think about where are the best baseball probabilities from this hitter's spray chart to get him to hit to a place where it won't be extra bases or a home run.
The 1-1 and Blackmon bounces it to Gonzalez. It's a foul ball. It's a foul ball. That's the home plate umpire's jurisdiction because it's in front of the bag, and Tim Timmons threw his hands up.
Adrian was trying to get it before it went foul, trying to make that play. You see him kind of going out there, but it was the right call because it was foul. It's kind of a late call because home plate umpire Tim Timmons had trouble, I think, getting around Yasmani Grandal to make that call. So that's why it was just a little bit delayed, but that was a correct call.
A good angle right here.
See Tim Timmons back there.
Blackmon's running because the first base umpire is not giving a signal, but it's not his call.
Baez ready for a 1-2. Blackmon leaves it up there. That play, by the way, is not reviewable until the ball goes by the bag.
It's really interesting that that's not reviewable. As you would think, if an umpire gets blocked off like Yasmani blocked him off right there and doesn't get a good read, and now Adrian catches it right near the foul line, let's say, and now they get him out. You could see the Rockies wanting to debate that.
Got to be careful here if you're Baez and the Dodgers. Big time hitters in this lineup. LeMahieu's due next. And a 4-2 game in the 7th, and an important game for the Dodgers.
I like a low and away fastball for a strike. You're going to throw the breaking ball and try and fool him. You bring in the chance of hanging it a little bit, and all of a sudden you're giving him a chance to hit it in the right field bleachers. Hard low and away, and look for a ground ball or a weak fly ball to the opposite field.
Here it comes. Fly to deep left, but Kendrick is there, drifting back at the track with room. That thing kept on carrying, but it falls into Kendrick's glove and finishes off the Rockies in the 7th. welcome you back inside to set up the final couple of innings of this game. We told you off at the top it was an important one, and here the Dodgers are with a chance to win it.
Yeah, but they have to keep the pressure on as far as offensively, because we know here in Colorado you got a 4-2 lead, but it never feels comfortable here in Colorado because things can change in an instant.
Kenta Maeda, Pedro Baez doing the job on the mound. Kenta got a little deeper into the game than the other stars we've seen here in Colorado, and so right now every facet of the game for the Dodgers is functioning, and if they can finish it off, it's going to be a good win for this last game of the series.
Yeah, they'll see a new Rockies pitcher here in Adam Ottavino.
We've also seen some great plays by the defense picking up those pitchers.
Yeah. Howie Kendrick leads off this inning and looks at ball one. Ottavino's second appearance of this series. Has not allowed an earned run this season in his 12 games. Got a number to match the ERA. Ottavino born in Brooklyn. This is 2-0 to Howie Kendrick. Hit hard into center and a leadoff single for Howie. You can follow Dodgers Baseball Live with the MLB.com @Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download the @Bat app on your tablet and phone. So after Kendrick's single, here's Jock Peterson. Was really frustrated with himself after striking out in his last trip up there in the 6th. Doubled his first time. Also has a walk tonight. That ball scorched into center. Kendrick makes the turn, testing the arm of Blackmon. Up to second goes Peterson, and he's tagged out.
Jock does a tremendous job getting the base hit up the middle and then makes a base running mistake. We've seen Jock make a couple in the last couple of games. We saw him on third base on that safety squeeze, making a base running mistake. And then once again here, this one you have to go hard right out of the box, and you have to be aware of the guy in front of you. And once he's taking off, Jock hesitated, but you also have to make sure that you're going to be there. Even if you happen to not recognize that he's going to third, then you don't really need to take the risk. Just stay there. You're better off staying there than trying to make a mistake like that.
So man at third with one out, and Scott Van Slyke to bat in the pitcher's spot. The infield in for the Rockies. Here comes Ottavino. Van Slyke dumps it back, strike one. Joe Blanton getting loose. So Ottavino in danger of allowing his first run of the season, his first run since returning from Tommy John surgery. Other than
two sliders, not very good ones. Scott Van Slyke coming up there trying to attack the first pitch. The first one he fouled back. That was a hanger right there, almost overhung, that kind of changes the vision of the hitter.
One and two.
Be aware of a wild pitch right here if he throws slider, because he's hung a couple and he doesn't want to do that. He might make an over adjustment.
Now Van Slyke chases one that was well off of the plate. That's a big out for Adam Ottavino.
Going with something a little slower, more of the curveball type slider. Took a lot off, made sure it kept it down and away.
It's a big at bat right here for Chase Utley. You guys were just talking about how this ballpark tends to make for some wacky late innings, meaning that 4-2 doesn't feel very comfortable. Now with back-to-back singles to begin the inning, it looked like Dodgers may have an opportunity to add insurance, but Kendrick at third still trying to add. With 2 gone, ball 1.
Pretty much any lead here in Coors Field, you cut it in half, and that's what it feels like at sea level. So this 2-run lead feels more like a 1-run lead because we're playing here.
Here comes the 1-0 to Chase Utley. He slices it foul, 1-1.
So if you're doing math back home, if you go, what's a 3-run lead? You know, it's a 1.5. Just
guess you round
yeah,
up.
yeah, you just give the odd numbers.
Ottavino, the first major league pitcher ever to wear 0. Ready to deal a 1-1 pitch to Chase Utley. He takes it in the dirt, and it's 2-1. He's worn 0 his whole life. Started wearing it when he was a young kid before they had names on the back of the jerseys. He liked it because he thought it was kind of representation of his name. 0 for O and Ottavino. Kendrick at third with 2 gone. And Ottavino's 2-1 pitch to Chase Utley. Over the inside corner, 2-2.
I think this ball's inside. Let's take a look on strike zone. Yeah.
So the count is full. Corey Seager due next. Dodgers with a run in the 4th and 3 in the 5th, leading 4-2. A 3-2 down the left field line, peeling towards the corner and foul.
The emotions of both teams hang in the balance in this at bat. The 2-out RBI you talk about, Nomar. The Rockies trotting into their dugout if they get a 0 on the board here, feeling like let's come get them. The Dodgers get a run here, they're going to feel really energized playing in the bottom of this inning.
Another payoff. Another foul ball.
Well, yeah, if you're the Rockies, you feel like you have some momentum. You give up 2 base hits, lead-off base hits, and then being able to get out of this inning without giving up a run.
Two, 3, and 4 coming up for Colorado in the bottom of the 8th. That man there will bat second. Kendrick at third, and another 3-2 to Chase Utley. And he got him swinging. It's a tough inning for the Dodgers to swallow. They still lead 4-2 as we march to the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. Joe Blanton comes in to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning for the Dodgers, up 4-2. Try to salvage one win out of this 3-game series, and he'll have his work cut out for him. LeMahieu, Arenado, and Dahl.
54 strikeouts, 17 walks. That exemplifies outstanding command, which Joe has shown all year with his fastball and his slider. A tremendous knowledge of how to pitch from his veteran status and also his experience as a starter and now as a really outstanding reliever.
And misses inside to LeMahieu for ball 1 to get this 8th inning going. DJ 0 for 3 tonight. Rockies have been quieted after they scored 19 runs in the first 2 games of this series. Just missing, ball 2.
Borderline pitches so far in the last inning or so are not going the Dodgers' way. That last pitch was a strike.
Joe Blanton delivers 2-1. That's 2-2. Blanton started his major league career with the Oakland A's. He is one of 6 former A's on the 25-man roster right now. The 7th, Brett Anderson. The bench coach, Bob Guerin, is the former manager there. Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach for the Dodgers, former pitcher there. Full count. And Farhan Zaidi, general manager of the Dodgers, came from Oakland as well. That's where you see some of the more recent connections.
I have fond memories of Oakland.
I think you do. Jay Utley there to gobble it up. Of course, managing the Rockies, Walt Weiss. Speaking of the Oakland A's.
I remember standing on that mound saying, I'm going to Disneyland.
Nice to face Arenado with the bases empty in this situation. National League leader in homers and in RBIs. Somebody found our field microphone. Here's a 1-0. 1-1. Pulled the string on him. You know, another guy with Oakland connections, Andre Ethier, was drafted by Oakland. Came to the Dodgers for Milton Bradley. On the other side, we mentioned Walt Weiss. You also have Carlos Gonzalez. Came over from Oakland. I believe that was in the Matt Holliday deal. And he is available tonight to pinch hit after that mild sprain in last night's game. Playing ready for a 1-2, and Arenado fouls it off.
I think this is the most fastballs we've seen Joe Blanton throw in his 10 pitches. A lot of times he relies on pinpointing that slider, but here at this elevation, knowing that it's not going to break an awful lot with a 2-run lead, attacking with the fastball.
Kenley Jansen warming in anticipation of a save opportunity in the ninth. 31 saves this season. That's second in the National League. All-time leader in that category in Dodgers history. Another 1-2. A little cue shot. Gently hit foul. Stays at a ball and 2 strikes on Nolan Arenado. Two and two.
That was a really good pitch by Joe Blanton. Good job by Arenado to lay off of it, because he's been attacking him with the fastballs like you were talking about, Orel. So as a hitter, you're looking for that fastball. You're behind in the count, and he makes that one look like a fastball. He actually had to fight one off, a fastball down there, to keep this at bat alive. And that one breaks off, and he's able to recognize and lay off of it.
Good battle going here. Blanton with a 2-2, and it's popped up. Into short center. Peterson comes on, loses his hat, catches the ball with a big smile on his face. Yeah, that is, in other parks, a more routine play than that, but because so much room in the outfield here at Coors Field, you play deeper and a longer run for him to get under it.
Here, as that one went up, you're thinking, all right, it's an out, but then all of a sudden you start seeing, you're like watching him run in, you start holding your breath going, wait a minute, he has to make a play on this one.
David Dahl swings and misses, strike one. His 2-run homer accounting for the Rockies scoring in this game. Because the outfield is so expansive, those seats right there up at the very top and dead center are the farthest seats from home plate in the majors. Things are way up there. What else do you think gets close? Wondering if at Wrigley, the center field seats up at the very top above the batter's eye.
Do Wrigley, do they claim the ones out on the buildings?
No. 1-2 on Dahl. Dodger Stadium very expansive, but as far as distance from home plate, I think this takes the cake because it's in straightaway center. Whereas you don't have those at Dodger Stadium, obviously.
Philly has some far ones in right center. There's some on that upper level.
Yeah. Here's a 1-2. And gently hit up along first. Adrian steps on the bag, and Joe Blanton goes through the teeth of disorder in order onto the ninth.
After the game on Access Sportsnet Dodgers, John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., who needs to see us over here, Jerry, right behind you, and Ned Coletti. They'll be in studio, plus I'll have interviews and reactions from the clubhouse. Coming up after the game on Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. Guys, was Jerry just dancing?
I don't know what that was. Yeah, good footwork, whatever it was.
He's dancing because it's really hard to do the post-game shows when the Dodgers lose, and we got a chance for a W to send it back to him.
And we got Wild Thing in the game. Carlos Estevez is the way he pronounces his name. He's taking over the closer's role. He'll try and keep it a 4-2 game. Yeah, give his team a chance in the bottom of the ninth. 2, 3, and 4 for LA. Seager, Turner, and Reddick. Corey 2 for 11 in this series. One of those 2 hits a home run tonight. And Estevez really plays into the whole Wild Thing. He comes into Wild Thing as his
and throws 98, 99,
yeah,
just like him.
I think he used the word thing like 3 times in 7 words right there.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked great.
Nice. No, we talked about it when he came in the other night, but he met Carlos Estevez, Charlie Sheen, while the Rockies were playing the Dodgers.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. That's funny. You said hopped off one of the one of the celebrity tour buses. Yeah, here's Charlie Sheen's house. All right, I'm out. Seager down on strikes.
I'm gonna go meet him. But he did it through a friend or an acquaintance, set up the meeting, and got to go to his house.
Yeah, they hung out.
Not like, hey, let's meet at Starbucks for a cup of coffee.
No. Justin Turner, 1 for 4.
What were the different names that Vaughn gave his pitches in the movie Major League?
You're going to have to refresh my memory.
I'm just wondering if also Walt Weiss ever just says, just give him the heat.
It's not a bad line if you're pitching coach Steve Foster and he's in a jam or something. You want to change his brain chemistry, make him laugh a little bit.
All right.
You know.
Turner down swinging at a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, and he gave him the heat. 2 out.
You got to start early because you know the velocity's there, and you just hope he gets it close to where you can hit it. But that one was up around the neck, and Justin was trying to hold up, but he was throwing the barrel at it a little early, and you can't hold up.
Josh Reddick taking strike 1, 99 this time. Saw some signs of frustration after Reddick grounded out his last time up. 0 for 7 to begin his time with the Dodgers. For 7, not normally reason for frustration, but in the context of him, like you've talked about, Nomar, trying to endear himself to his teammates in his new clubhouse and his new city. Sure, there's some added pressure that he's putting on himself.
And that is so natural. Especially when you trade deadline, you come over to a contending team. You see the media attention behind it. You start pressing a little bit.
Rockies will have Reynolds, Descalso, or make that Yanoa and Adames do up against Kenley Jansen. But again, Carlos Gonzalez available off of Walt Weiss's bench.
The key is to keep him there. As hot as he's been, a little roll over the ankle took a very potent bat out of the lineup for the Rockies today in this third game.
Yeah, Gonzalez has been the best hitter in baseball by a couple of different measures since mid-May. 2-2. Reddick making Estevez work. And a pop up into center. Charlie Blackmon there. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Kenley Jansen coming on. Fasten those seatbelts. Dodgers will try and lock this thing up and get back to LA with a victory in this series finale. .31 saves this season for Kenley Jansen. He'll try and get number 32 here in the ninth inning in Denver. That earned run average is the best in the National League. Although Kenley's not quite been himself in the second half, having blown 2 saves in his 7 outings since the break.
He's gone with some new shoes too, I think, to change his luck. Made his first All-Star team, coming back from the All-Star game. Hasn't really got off on the right foot, but changed the footwear.
There's Carlos Gonzalez. You figure Walt Weiss would plug in there when he gets a base runner on. If he gets a base runner on. Mark Reynolds starts it off against Kenley Jansen. Yeah, misses at 94 with ball 1. Reynolds 1 for 3 so far tonight. Set for the 1-0. They had a big call there. It's 1-1. Missed his spot, but caught the inside corner, says Tim Timmons. And he's hearing it. Tim Timmons is from that first base Rockies dugout. Tries to lay off. Can't. 1-2.
I would say he went on that one. You know, the fans here didn't like that call.
No. Here comes the 1-2. One gone.
Right up the ladder, go right to where you got the check swing. Here you get the full-blown swing and blew it by him.
So now it's Inoa. Carlos Gonzalez hoping for his opportunity.
It's like a tiger pacing in his cage, waiting for an opportunity. They need a runner on before they're going to use his bat.
There's a strike on Inoa. 3-game series with Boston starting tomorrow. Giants continue their long road trip. They head to Washington to take on the Nationals. And these Rockies will open a series with the Marlins. An 0-1. Strike 2. Not even close. At 93. Meaningful games the final couple of months of the season, which you always hope for. Dodgers trying to track down an unprecedented 4th consecutive division title. And Noah protects. Look out in that third base dugout. Went directly at Rich Hill, who is protected by the screen. And as soon as that ball hit the screen, Hill got off the bench that he was sitting on and went a little deeper into the dugout. He struck out Reynolds. Noah battles him. Has fouled off a couple of 0-2 pitches in a row. And again, over to that Dodger dugout. This one actually got into it, I think. So the pitching rotation in flux for this weekend. We know that it'll be Scott Kazmir tomorrow against Boston's knuckleballer Stephen Wright. TBD for Saturday and Sunday still. Here's another 0-2. And he digs out a breaking ball. Utley's got it. And the Dodgers 1 out away.
Kenley got him out with a slider, not only to get him out, but to protect his team. Keep the fastball from getting fouled off over there in the Dodger dugout. Throws the off-speed pitch, finally gets him out in front of something. It's a routine ground ball.
And now all this stands between Kenley and save number 32 is Christian Adames, who had 0 for 2 today, is now 4 for his last 42. Jansen's first one. Strike 1. This would knock the Rockies back to 500. This would put the Dodgers 12 games over 500 and have them keeping pace with the Giants in the West. Giants won earlier today in extras against Philly. Now the 0-1. Going to be a fun final couple of months. 9 games head-to-head with the Giants still looming. 6 of them at Dodger Stadium. 3 of them in San Francisco on the final 3 days of the regular season. 1-2. 7-3 Rockies in the opener. 12-2 Rockies last night. Really never in doubt, those two games. Dodgers getting the game's first run tonight in the fourth. Rockies took the lead in the bottom of that inning and a home run from Dahl. Those are their only runs. Dodgers getting 3 in the fifth, and that's where we stand here in the ninth. 1-2. And a 1-2-3 ninth inning for Kenley Jansen, putting a capper on a 4-2 Dodger win. Corey Seager's 19th home run of the season, even the issue at 2 right after Dahl had put the Rockies in front. And then it was Yasmani Grandal's 2-run triple that proved to be the difference. That is our Lexus play of the game. Grandal's been one of the top hitters in the National League since July started. And he continued that tonight with what was his first triple in 2 years.
I mean, that was just a tremendous at bat, especially with 2 outs in the time of the game. And we talked about this is a big game for the Dodgers to get the win, avoid the sweep, and to carry that momentum back home with a big series against Boston.
Dodgers got just enough from every department tonight.
That does it from Denver. For Oral and Nomar and Kelly Tennant and the rest of our crew here in Denver, Joe Davis saying so long. We get you to Access Sportnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan.